You know, late last year I made a prediction that Damien Sandow's big push would happen after John Cena, and he lost the Money in the Bank briefcase. You know, a funny thing about that is he's still on TV. I want to talk about this, guys. My name is Tubby Emu. I don't know if I already said that, but I want to talk about a lot of guys' pushes in WWE and why a lot of people are getting mad superstars aren't getting pushed, that they're going down the wrong path, and, you know, There are a couple of guys I think really fit that mold, especially, you know, Damien and Dolph went down this series of path matches where they had, you know, all those stupid stipulations and the holiday matches and the brawl on, like, God, what was the one with the instruments and stuff? And a lot of people got mad and upset about that. And, you know, I had said Damien was going to get a big push from that. Now, I have to say, I've been a big fan of Sandow since the beginning. The whole... you know, savior of the masses thing. I love that gimmick. But if you watch SmackDown and you watched his, I think, you know, Miz started this a couple months ago, you know, being unhappy and coming out to the ring at random point of the matches. But Damien Sandow's at the point where that promo on Friday Night SmackDown I thought was gold. I loved every minute of it. And, you know, he starts, no, we're here for the WWE to put a smile on people's faces. That's why I dressed up as Magneto. And I was getting to think about it, and I was like, there's something a lot of people are forgetting. You know, everybody always says in WWE, especially lately, when are they going to get their big push? Their big push. Their big push. Why aren't they getting pushed? Where are they going to get pushed to? You have, you know, the top of the roster kind of set for a little bit. You know, you've got your mid-card titles kind of up in air. And is a mid-card push really a push anymore? I think there are so many more varying degrees of ways that superstars are getting pushed these days, you know, especially with pre-match promos, things on the network, and Damien Sandow shows on like YouTube, because one of my favorite shows still to this day is on the WWE YouTube channel, which is the JBL and Cole Show. And if you don't know about the JBL and Cole Show, you know, Bad News Barrett and Cody Rhodes work together, and they're going on this whole like mission and stuff. And it's just awesome. And you watch that show, and, you know, they're bringing a lot of stories from other mediums besides just WWE TV programming, which I like. Now, the only problem with that is how many people actually watch the JBL and Cole Show. I think the usual average is like 75 to 125,000 views per episode. So it's not that much. But if you've ever watched the show, that's where Bad News Barrett started. And that was a new form of a push. You know, they really hadn't had up until that point, except for like Zack Ryder and you know, True Long Island Story. You know, they haven't really pushed somebody based off of, you know, YouTube or another form of media besides just TV, and or, you know, based on like a vignette package or something of the kind. And it made me really happy when Bad News Barrett came. Now, the way they did Bad News Barrett all the time, without ever having a match, and he went for like 4 months, and people kept saying, why don't they fucking push Barrett? Why don't they push Barrett? Why isn't Barrett getting a push? Why isn't he wrestling? This is so stupid. Now he's Intercontinental Champion. We waited 6 months. He was out of action, wasn't wrestling, even though he was able to. But we waited. People in this generation are too hooked on getting instant satisfaction. If you look at superstars that got instant pushes, where are they now? Ryback. Wade Barrett the first time. Look what happened. And I think Alexander Rusev is the greatest point in this. Alexander Rusev is a guy WWE officials were very high on. And he comes in, and he's feuding with R-Truth and Xavier Woods right now. And that, to me, as much as, you know, I like Rusev, I love Lana even more, and he's one of the superstars, I think, in WWE that is deserving of a push. I still like him, and I still like Lana more, so whoever Lana's with just deserves a push. But they're integrating the whole Putin thing because of Russia, and they're making it, you know, social and, you know, more interactive based on real-life things, and that's what wrestling has always kind of been about, bringing up these things, and JR, you know, specifically, relevant programming. And, you know, what's more relevant than, you know, Damien Sandow in the Magneto costume? I loved it. I know a lot of people hated on it and said, look where Damien Sandow's career is gone. Where the fuck is JTG's career gone? When is the last time you saw JTG on WWE programming? Don't give me this bullshit on Twitter saying, oh, this is the big push you're talking about there, Tubby, for Damien Sandow, huh? Damien Sandow is on TV every week, whether it's a squash match or not. He's involved in a story, and now especially with the whole I'm for the kids, and he's making fun of it, and he had this pipe bomb that got shut off, and it's a slow push, exactly like Bad News Barrett. And I wish people would be more patient and more just wait for it. That instant gratification of coming up really hasn't been there. Bo Dallas, they've been airing promos forever now. His push got, not his push, but his debut got pushed back from SmackDown to next week's SmackDown. And, they're doing this in WWE where they're making us wait. They're building it slower. And I like that. I don't like when they just come out and straight make this dude like this super beast. They did a good job with Alexander Rusev. I mean, most of the time when they came out to do the promo, I thought it was, it wasn't, I don't think done properly, because by the time people didn't really care. He came out in like the third hour, and Lana would introduce him, and like that was pretty much it. So it was kind of a disappointment based on how they built, Rusev. But guys like Bad News Barrett, guys like Dolph Ziggler right now is, kind of in this, this fad where he's either jobbing out to people, or he gets an Intercontinental Championship match, has a great match, and then loses to Big E. But at the same time, guys, they're on TV. They're featured in some sort of program, whether it's the Magneto thing. I mean, how many of those guys backstage, Yoshitatsu, Tyson Kidd, how many of them would have loved to work with Hugh Jackman? How many of them would have loved to get that Magneto spot? And that's the thing I can't stand. When I don't mean to be rude here, because that's a big portion of my audience is young males under 16. But the 12-year-olds who come to me and say, fuck this, Damian isn't getting pushed. Guys, he's getting way more push than Tyson Kidd, Yoshitatsu, pretty much all the guys that, got shut down NXT, like Mason Ryan, who got released. Being on TV, even if you're not in like this huge storyline, doesn't mean you're not getting pushed, or doesn't mean you're buried by any means. Guys that are buried are JTG, a guy that they don't know what the fuck to do with. Tyson Kidd, a guy who I love him. I think he's got great in-ring ability, but, I think I was talking to Pulse about this. When the Hart Dynasty left, Tyson Kidd was fucked, because I think Tyson Kidd is a tag team wrestler. I don't ever see him getting a push in WWE. I hate to say that, because I love Tyson Kidd. But based on what the WWE has now, I don't ever see him getting a push. But that doesn't mean they can't be used as utility players. Not all superstars, especially if you go back and watch, even the Attitude Era or these other guys like, Steve Blackman, or a lot of the guys on the pre-show that you used to watch on, old episodes of Raw, or, on the pay-per-views, the Cruiserweight division, people that really never got a push but were there, and people kind of knew them. Jimmy Yang Wang, I can name a bunch of guys where at least you're on TV. I think a lot of these superstars that everybody keeps saying are buried are way more happy that they're on the program than the guys who aren't on the program. And, that's been one of my biggest pet peeves about making, videos or talking about things or superstar pushes or, news videos, is because people are too quick to judge, rush, and get pissed off about what's going on in the WWE because they don't get instant gratification, and they're not, getting that guy pushed to the level they want to. You have to remember, not everybody likes the superstars the same way. Not everybody gets that big, pop. Even guys that have been there a long time aren't really getting those big pops anymore. And mainly, I will say, because, how they're being pushed and everything, and, what storylines they're in. You don't need a huge storyline to be involved in a lot of things, but they do need to step up their game with some of the superstars. And I think where they're going with Damian Sandow, that fact that we're patient, we've been waiting for it, I think Damian, something is coming of it. At the same time, something a lot of people fail to realize is, everybody looks at it as John Cena beat Damian and then that buried Damian. No, the combining of the titles buried Damian. Because even Dolph, who, held the Money in the Bank for a year and then eventually got not necessarily buried, but, pushed way down the food chain, at least got his chance to cash in. But if they were planning on combining the titles the whole time, they were going to lose. Because if John Cena was going to go on to face Randy Orton like they had planned, to combine the titles, which I thought, the two perfect guys from that era to combine the titles, I don't think anybody would have paid attention to Del Rio and, Randy Orton. So I definitely do think they did the right thing. But you also want John Cena being the only guy to lose. Nobody looks at it as the only guy to ever lose cash in the Money in the Bank beats the last guy, to have a Money in the Bank, a SmackDown Money in the Bank. And, I think more people remember Damian for that, but at least you remember him for that. He's the guy that couldn't even cash in the title successfully. But wait, he's in company with John Cena. A lot of people forget that. And I know a lot of people are looking at this, and, the way I'm talking about this is kind of a really stupid analysis, but at the same time, are you on WWE programming? Are you in a Magneto costume? I love the Magneto costume. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought it was one of the best spots in recent memory. I loved it. And especially where Damian's going now. If you miss SmackDown, guys, I highly suggest you go watch the episode, or at least the promo that, Damian gave, and his pipe bomb on the network in the pre-show, and his mic got cut off. I think the more patient you guys are, the more these superstars and these stories are going to come out of places from Twitter. The whole Fandango, if you remember Summer Rae. Fandango is another guy that got put in this category. Now he's with Layla, and he wrestled Santino and Emma like 5 weeks in a row. Now, is he buried? He's on Total Divas. He's partnering with Layla. Sure, he's not going for a title, and that's, I think, what a lot of kids, and I'm saying kids because they're the younger ones that always complain and pitch about it, that they think a push is a title. A push is on TV, being able to push your merchandise, being able to earn additional sales. That's what a push is. A push is being the guy that are in those kooky spots on TV. Is it the ideal spot to be? Absolutely not. I bet Damian Sandow would much rather be in a bigger position. But at the same time, he's got a presence. He's around. He's available. I want to see the Kobito Aki yet again. Haven't seen it in a while. I want to see Damian Sandow eventually get that big push. But I'm patient. I'm waiting for it. As much as I want that instant gratification right now, it's coming. Damian is well on his way to getting that push. Same thing with all the other guys that have kind of been stuck in this holding pattern, guys. They've got a lot more programming to fill. And hopefully, now that the TV deals are out of the way, you'll finally see some big storyline come out of the works. Even if it's not a huge one, they've got a lot more programming to fill. And I think they're going the right way here. If you look at all the guys that got that super instant mega push, they kind of went nowhere. In this case, they're taking their time. And I'm liking where it's going, to be honest with you. I'm really a fan of how they're pushing Damian Sandow right now. I think they're doing a good job, guys. So who are some other guys that I failed to mention that you think aren't necessarily getting a push right now, but that you kind of like where they're going with them, even though they're not getting featured? I think Damian's that guy for me. They're slowly turning the Rhodes brothers against each other, which I think is good. And I'm surprised that Cody got the heel role, though. That really surprised me. I thought they were going to make Goldust the heel, but apparently they had other ideas. Cody Rhodes hitting a crossroad out of nowhere for the win. Damian, wait a minute. What? Damian, you're Magneto on TV, but I'm pretty sure guys like, who I was going to say somebody else, but I don't think so. Until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you all. Actually, I probably won't because you're going to get buried. I mean, come on.